Hi, everybody, and welcome. And thank you for taking the time to watch my webinar about luxury river cruising and golf in Europe. I would like to introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. I was born and raised in Bavaria, Germany. I lived in several countries and in the United States. Since I was a little girl, I have been traveling the world, and travel is still my passion. I've been in the travel industry for over 25 years and joined cruise planners and an American Express representative about a year ago. Cruise planners gives me access to resources and trainings, and I stay up to date, especially in the current environment. As a bonus, I have access to exclusive savings and special amenities, which I can pass on to my clients. Most importantly, I'm a specialist who is your personal advocate for your travels and just a phone call away. Today, I have two experts with me on the webinar. Steve Bejaka, who is the Regional Sales Manager of New England for AmaWaterways. He has been my source and support with everything related to AmaWaterways in the last couple of years and never gets tired of answering all my questions. Steve, I hope you never get tired.
No, never. Pleasure to work with you.
No. Thank you. And then we have Nicholas Bödrucker from LGT Golf, who is joining us today. He has partnered with AmaWaterways and organizes the Golf Concierge Program. Nicholas is a member of the PGA Business Membership Group and has won several golf awards for this concierge program. He knows the best places in Europe, some of which he picked for the Danube cruise on the AmaMagna.
Thank you, Regina. It's a pleasure to be with you and with all your listeners. And yeah, we'll have a lovely time now where we enjoy the presentation.
Perfect. So let me tell you a little about what makes river cruising special. So I was really lucky as I was able to be on a river cruise last September with AmaWaterways. Actually was on the Ama Christina, and I was able to experience all the advantages of a river cruise. At that time, AmaWaterways was the only American river cruise line that that was actually on the rivers and has experience with after COVID protocol. They sailed last summer and fall in Germany and the neighboring countries. I mean, one thing that came right to my mind when we got, and actually I have to tell you, I went with my daughter Shannon, and it was a wonderful mother-daughter trip. And when we arrived on the ship, the one thing I really liked a lot was we unpacked once and then we packed our suitcases again at the end of the trip. So that's definitely a big advantage. It's also very, a river cruise is a very intimate and personal atmosphere. It's not like on a huge ocean cruiser, it's only, it's less people, between 150 to 190, depending on what ship. And it's just a smaller group. Same thing applies for the cultural experiences. You can really immerse yourself in the culture, and it's always only in small groups, which is really the fun part. You are not part of a big group. It's only small groups excursions. The ship then docks really in the heart of the city. Sometimes it's just like 5 minutes away from the city center, and it's very easy to reach. You don't have long transfer times. The staterooms, all the staterooms have breathtaking views. One thing, and we will talk about it later, is definitely the fine dining, which we all enjoyed. You don't have to bring any formal wear. Everything is included, and important for some of my clients I know is also you don't get seasick on a river cruise, which for some is really important. So Steve, tell us a little bit about the AmaMagna.
Well, the AmaMagna is the brainchild of our president and leader, Rudy Schreiner. He thought several years back that he would design a ship roughly twice the width of the regular long ships on the Rhine and Danube rivers. And his concept was to go from 2 restaurants that are standard on ships these size to 4 restaurants and have more than 1 guest lounge and bar, and to really make the staterooms quite large, right? To be more like a luxury ocean liner in that respect. And when we go through the slides and we look at the ship, you'll see she's really like a floating hotel here, floating luxury hotel, and the amenities are fantastic. So we can, there you go. So this is a great slide that you've put in here, Regine. It is by comparison. Next to it, rafting next to the Magna is one of our standard size ships, and she looks almost dwarfed by the Magna. How the width of it, it's not quite, it's a few feet short of being perfectly double the width, but you get the idea. And she sails on the Danube because the Danube River is the only river with locks wide enough to take a ship of this size. And you can see on the back there, in the rear, you can see the spinning station, all the bicycles there. That's the fitness area to the back of the ship. And it's got a heated pool on the sun deck and a swim-up bar. It's just a beautiful ship. Not to take anything away from our standard ships, but it's a very unique experience.
Mm-hmm, definitely. So let's talk a little bit about the itinerary. You start, actually, you can either start in Vilshofen, Germany, or in Budapest. So we are talking about the route now from Budapest. That's in Hungary. Then you go on to Bratislava, Slovakia, Vienna, Austria. You sail through Austria, then go to Germany, Passau, Vilshofen. And if you decide to extend your trip, you can even go to the 5th country, the Czech Republic, to Prague. And, we talk about more details during the webinar, but just to give you an idea. Okay, so Nicholas, this is your cue. Tell us a little bit about the concierge program.
So the Golf Concierge program is designed to take care of all of your golfing needs throughout the program. So when you sign up for this, the golfer will not have to do anything with taking care of their tee times, their golf clubs. We take care of everything. We transport you from the ship to the golf course, from the golf course back to the ship, even if the ship moves in the meantime. We do everything with Mercedes B-Class vans. At the golf courses, at each golf course, we have either lunch or a little meal. You have a lovely welcome packet, a welcome gift, which is a dozen tour level golf balls, a specially designed shoe bag that can fit any size up to size US size 13, possibly 14 at a squeeze. Some birdie books, or stroke savers, which you might not be familiar with, but they're a great souvenir, as well as some other bits and bobs. The transportation, as I say, we use the Mercedes B-Class vans. It does provide us a really good luxury experience. And when we're in Budapest, once we've taken your clubs from you on the ship on the embarkation day, the next day what we'll do is drive about 45 minutes outside of Budapest, and we get to the Pannonia Golf and Country Club. This is a Hans Erhardt designed golf club. He says it's still probably one of his best designs, even though he's got properties that are on the European tour in Austria. But he says he loves this one. And we're looking down here on the 8th hole. It's a little par 3, but it's a very tricky one. You can see anything that fades too much to the right, and it's in the wet stuff. I'd say the best about this golf course is it tells a story. From the 1st hole to the 9th, it just gets progressively more and more difficult. Then you have a break as you go to the 10th hole, and the storyline continues again. You start off, it's a fairly easy par 4, and then every hole just gets successively more and more difficult until you finish on the 18th. And if you played to par on this golf course, then you've done a really good job. It's also home to the Hungarian national golf team, as well as the host of the Hungarian Seniors Open. When we're done with the golf, we bring you back to the ship, which is sitting probably right there, before you go on your first part of the journey, which I'll pass on to Steve and Regina.
Okay, so yes, what I really would like to point out, the the itinerary on the AmaMagna and the whole cruise, it's really for golfers, but it's also just like a regular river cruise. So there are all kinds of excursions for those of you who don't golf, and that's a good thing, especially for couples where one is golfing, the other not. It's really something for everybody. And now in Budapest, I mean, it's just amazing. I remembered vividly, when I was there. Budapest has many places, with UNESCO heritage sites, and you have Buda on the high side, you see in the back there, with beautiful views over the lower part. Used to be Pest, now, I mean, it's one name, it's Budapest. Up on the hill there, I would say the most romantic area, very picturesque houses, gas lamps, frozen in time. You can go from one wine cellar to the next, try, some of the Tokai wine, but there's just so much to do. And they are both, combined through the bridge, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful scenery during the day or at night. Okay, so Steve is going to tell us a little bit about the rooms, the staterooms on the AmaMagna. So Steve, go ahead.
Yep. So last year, the beginning of last year, I was fortunate enough to sail on the Magna, and actually the stateroom we're looking at right now was a stateroom that was provided to me on this particular cruise that I was on, and 355 square feet. So just to give the folks a little bit of a point of reference, on the long ships, a standard size cabin would be anywhere from 210 to say 235 square feet, and that's pretty good size for the long ships. So here you have a standard cabin. This is a balcony stateroom, 355 square feet, so plenty of room for all of your things. You've got a lovely balcony there. That's a queen size bed. You've got a TV you see facing the bed. You've got a flat screen with Wi-Fi is included always. And then here's the bathroom that goes with it. You can see, again, it's about size, it's about comfort. We want people to have the feel of being in a luxury hotel and not feel cramped at all. So these staterooms and the bathrooms that go with them and the showers and everything are wonderful. This is just a great way to travel. Here's the grand suite here. This is a step up from what we just looked at, 474 square feet. There is not another river cruise on the Danube with staterooms or suites this size. This is luxury. This is a wonderful suite, great view, and just so much space.
Yeah, when I was there, actually, about a year and a half ago, it's just the size when you walk into that suite it's just amazing, like you said, and the view is beautiful.
You can entertain from here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The best thing, of course, also for the guests is that they don't have to have their golf clubs or the golf bags in the staterooms. We take care of the golf clubs throughout the journey. So you don't have to worry about that extra piece of luggage taking up more space, leaving you to really enjoy the stateroom and enjoy the amenities in there.
That's good to know. Yeah.
Here's the owner's suite. And if you thought the grand suite was large, this suite is over 700 square feet. And this, you really can throw a party from here. You could, you get, 8 or 10 or 12 of your best friends in here every night and have a little party of your own. This is a phenomenal suite. And you can see, you could just look around and see the space and the furnishings. It's true luxury. This is just a wonderful suite.
And the bathroom, huh?
The bathroom, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. Got a tub and a shower stall. That's great.
Right. So this is, I mean, you have, I would say like 2.5 days or a few hours of cruising on the Danube, and it's just beautiful, you know, to enjoy that beautiful scenery. You see also the small villages and just the landscape. You know, I'm always impressed by that. And so you go from Budapest to Bratislava. And for those of you who are not golfers, there are always, you know, several options for excursions. So it's, yeah, Steve, you want to touch on that briefly, on the options you have in Bratislava?
This is my favorite. This, like you mentioned, there are several excursions each day. There's a walking tour, a hiking option, a bicycle tour option. We carry about 26. Well, on the Magna, we carry 30 touring bicycles on the ship. This is my favorite thing to do, the hike up to Bratislava Castle. It's stunning. It sort of overlooks the rest of the city. It's not a competitive or a very arduous hike. When you get here, you get to go inside. It's a beautiful castle. It's from the 1700s, I believe. It's all walled and it's like a fortress too. But the view from up here down to the rest of the city is spectacular. And this would be my personal choice of what to do in Bratislava.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I was going to say, for those of you who are golfing, there's still time to, in the morning of the Bratislava trip, to enjoy either the downtown walk or the castle hike, because we only pick you up just about lunchtime before we head up to the Penati Golf Resort. And the Legends course is the only par 6. It's the only par 6 golf hole in European Tour Championship history. It's a Jack Nicklaus designed golf course. It's beautifully maintained and kept. The green team is actually from Sweden that operate the whole green team, and they really know their stuff. It looks like somebody took a pair of hand scissors and clipped every single blade of grass as you're at. You can see that even here from this picture, just on the green. You know anything about Jack Nicklaus, you know it's generous fairways. It's fairly easy to start off with, but the closer you get to the hole, the more difficult it gets. This is a perfect example where you can see the undulating greens, the different contours. So precision play is very important in order to score well here. But on the 15th hole, as I say, you can play it for 787 yards, and that's an experience that must be had. After
just one question,
yes.
Nicholas, but it's always possible, or I mean, you always have a cart there, don't you?
Every golf course will have, every golfer will have a shared cart, even though European golf courses are actually built and designed to walk. So if you feel like walking and you don't want to do the golf cart, we will just supply you with an electric trolley, which means you don't have to actually push or pull anything. Just flick the button and it'll carry itself along the fairway for you. So that is also an option that you're absolutely welcome to take, but there is guaranteed a cart at every golf course. After the golf here at the Penati, we will have a nice dinner. It's a beautiful gourmet restaurant at the golf course. It's because while we're playing golf, the ship is slowly sailing towards Vienna. So when we finish with dinner, we drive actually to Vienna. Now you might think that this means that we're going to be for hours in the car. No, it's about 55 minutes from the golf course to Vienna. Just the ship takes a lot longer.
Which is also the nice part, you know, because for the rest of the group, you know, who are not golfers, they can really now enjoy the ship. I mean, the golfers can do that later, but you know, I would like to point out really things you can do. And what I find so special also about AmaWaterways is really the people, the staff. I mean, it's just amazing. And we have experienced it ourselves. you feel like you're part of a family. I mean, they know what you like, what you like, what you dislike. Like I always like my Darjeeling tea in the morning with a slice of lemon. I mean, on the second day, they didn't even ask. I got it right away. They're so genuine and they're polite and helpful. And so it's just fun, you know, to be around them. And the options you have when you come back either from golf or from an excursion is you can enjoy a drink at the bar. This is the pop-up bar you see there at the pool area. You can you can go for a play of chess. You can just lounge in one of the chairs and do nothing. You can sit with your friends and you know have coffee, even a cake in the afternoon, take a dip in the pool. So there's really much to do. And by the way, you can see on that one picture on top, you see also the herb garden. So you will see the chef coming up like once or twice a day and pick some fresh herbs, which I really like that. If you want to be more active, there are spinning bikes with a beautiful view. If you remember, I mean, you can just you look out right on the Danube. There's a fitness studio, but there's also spa and wellness if you want to relax and do classes. I mean, we did a number of those when we were on the Arma Christina, because there's a wellness coach on every ship, and the classes are free and they are fun, and they do all kinds of things from you know, Pilates to yoga to line dancing. I mean, we did everything. And the other fun part that Steve also mentioned are the bikes. And so on our tour, and that was, I have to say, not on the Danube, but I mean, it's everywhere the same. When you take a bike, after we did like one of the small groups excursions, which you can see down below, you know, with the half timbered houses, and they're sometimes 2-3 hours long. If you want, you can also have a whole day excursion, but you know, we went on the shorter ones. Then we grabbed the bike and explored the area ourselves, and you can't really get lost. I mean, if you stay, like you see it here next to the river, I mean, you just can't get lost. You just go one way and come back the same way, or on the other side of the river. It's just fun to experience it. So as Nicholas already mentioned, and let me just see, oh no. For the golfers, they will be taken to Vienna to go back on the ship, and the others will cruise to Vienna. And well, Vienna is one of my, well, there are a lot of favorite cities I have along the Danube, but Vienna is just beautiful. I've been there many times. I love the opera. They have excellent performances. So you have definitely the option to visit one. You know what, for me is always typical for Vienna is to go in a horse-drawn carriage, fiaker, that is called, because it's just like in old times. It's a slow way to, you know, to experience the city. Then I always have to go to the Hotel Sacher with the typical, you know, with the well-known Sacher torte, Sacher tart. There's still a fight between like Demel and Sacher, you know, who invented it first. But I mean, try them both, and then you can judge for yourself. And of course, there's Schloss Schönbrunn with the palace and the garden. So that's actually another excursion you can do in Vienna. There are often like 3, 4, sometimes 5 options, you know, what you can experience. And then you go on through the Wachau Valley, which is also a UNESCO heritage, beautiful. Actually, you see that my virtual background, that's, you know, that's the one I picked for today. And it's just beautiful to go through there. You leave Vienna and sail through the Wachau Valley to Krems and Spitz. And now Nicholas will also say what the golfers are going to do. But before that, Steve, can you just mention briefly, I think there's like a wine excursion. Is that in Krems? Or?
In Spit, we have an exclusive visit to a wine cellar. It's an evening visit. There's live music there. It's a wine tasting. And it's just for the guests of the AmaMagna. It's a lot of fun. I did it. I had the pleasure of doing it last year with my colleagues, and we had a blast. And we have videos of it, and there's music and dancing and wine tasting, and it's really a special visit. And it's a visit that we only do from the AmaMagna. It's not for some of our other itineraries. So it's a very, very exclusive and very special visit. A lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. So Nicholas, that's your slide now.
Yeah. Well, before the wine tasting, which you'll also get to do when you play golf, we're going to head about 25 minutes away from where the ship is docked to the Diamond Country Club. It's the host of the Austrian Open on the European PGA Tour. And as you can see from the image, there's a lot of water. So this is one of those courses where course management is vital to scoring well. The unique thing about this water is it's actually table quality drinking water, and that's protected by law. So the golf club actually puts a lot of money into keeping that crystal clear. So when it's about 30 degrees or 35 degrees in centigrade, which is about 80, 90 degrees in Fahrenheit, and if you might be tempted to just drop your club into the water to be able to go retrieve it and have a cool down, but it's a great golf course. It's a lot of fun to play. It's not too difficult, and that's brings me to a question that a lot of people ask me: how do we actually pick the golf courses? It's not about just being on the PGA European Tour. We test every single golf course from all the different tees. So for the ladies, as well as for the men's, for the from the pro or even the forward tees. And we determine a golf course suitability by the quality of the golf course, the playability, i.e. can you actually play it with having a 15 or a 20 handicap, and the customer experience journey. So how are you treated as a guest when you come there, having flown 7,000 miles to play golf in Austria or in Hungary? And those are the three important criteria that we use to actually pick a course. The Diamond Country Club has got some very unique features and a great cuisine. We'll have, after the round of golf, we'll have a little snack in the clubhouse. You can sit and chat with the locals. They're always interested when they suddenly hear American voices. Before we go back to the ship, where the rest of your group, the non-golfers, are waiting for you to share their day.
So it looks like we're looking.
Right, and I mean, there are plenty.
Sorry, Regine, go ahead.
No, there are plenty of options, to enjoy your time. And yeah, Steve, please go ahead and tell us a little bit about. I have to say up front, like the lower lounge, that's one of my favorite places.
Yeah. So when the golfers return to the ship and when the other guests return to the ship from their daily activities, we have a sip and sail before dinner. So for 1 hour before dinner every night, we'll open the bar. So that's spirits and beer and wine. And you see the upper lounge. This is the happening area before and after dinner. And the lower lounge is a more quiet area where you can have a drink if you just want to be outside of all the activity. These are the restaurants now. There's 4 restaurants. The Alfresco restaurant is the image to the left. This is personally my favorite restaurant here. I love the views. I love the menu here, very eclectic menu. Not a very large restaurant, sort of laid back and just a really fun menu. The main restaurant to the right can comfortably seat everyone on the ship, but it's never full because we have 3 other restaurants. Lovely menu every night that changes from day to day. And what do we have next? There we go. So, and we have the other 2 restaurants would be Jimmy's, which is a fun place as well. It's more of a family style, almost like a pub or a bistro. Serves large courses and the beer and wine is flowing. It's just this is a really fun atmosphere. And below it, you'll see the Chef's Table restaurant, which everyone gets to do at least once during the course of the week. And this is the chef will come out and introduce a 6-course tapas style meal and pair the offerings with local wines. A lot of fun, great presentation, and a great menu as well. And then the dining experience, so that your guests, so that your clients understand, we win many awards for our cuisine. We're members of the La Chaîne des Rôtisseurs in France, which is a very prestigious culinary award in France. The concept here is that nothing is ever frozen. Everything is sourced locally, and you have a European menu along with a North American menu. The European menu is the one that's the most important, obviously, and it changes from day to day, depending on where we are on the river, what region, what country, what city. And it's interesting, and it's fun, and it's healthy. I'm getting hungry just talking about it. It's early in the day here. But we make all of our own breads on the ship. We make all of our own pastries on the ship, and we can accommodate all dietary restrictions. So not an issue. You'd let Regine know if you had a dietary restriction, and we can take care of that when you get on board.
I'm afraid this is not very dietary menu. It gives me a way here.
It's all right.
I mean, that's all right. I think you can enjoy that, and it's I enjoy other food too, but I just couldn't resist. I took all those pictures actually myself during our last cruise, so they're definitely not staged. In the middle, you see the very famous Apfelstrudel, and it really tastes like it should taste. It's just you just enjoy it. Same thing with the Sachertorte, or also an Austrian special dish is the Marillenknödel. So we had a wonderful time, and I especially have to say, what I liked most, I didn't have to prepare the meals, I didn't have to clean up, and this is why this was one of my favorite parts on the whole cruise. So the next stop, actually, it's not, it's in Linz, but this is a photo of Salzburg. So when you stop in Linz, this is also kind of a day off for the golfers, where I think Nicholas is cleaning the golf clubs, don't you?
Exactly, yes.
During that time. So so you have 3 options. You can go for a full day to Salzburg and also the Austrian lakes. You can go to Český Krumlov for a half-day excursion, or you can stay in Linz and do a bike tour of, which is called like the cultural mile. I mean, what is close to my heart is Salzburg, and the reason for that is it's just actually an hour from where I grew up, and we spent many weekends and just day excursions in Salzburg, and it's just a beautiful city where you can basically walk everywhere, and with the beautiful view from up there. I mean, I enjoyed it, but you really have options depending on what you like, a half-day trip, but actually what country you like. And I think, Steve, you told me last time you went to Český Krumlov, didn't you?
Yes, very lovely. On the urging of my colleagues who said Salzburg is wonderful, but you've got to really try Český, and it's a very lovely town, and I love the architecture, walking around, poking around the side streets, and just had a great time. And the interesting thing here is when people get back on the ship, I can tell of my experience in the Czech Republic, and some of the other guests can talk about being in Salzburg, right? So there's always great conversation when people come back onto the ship, because there's so many different things to do each day, included obviously in the pricing of the program, right? So just these are great options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the next stop is Passau. So that's also another favorite. I have to say that a lot of favorites, as I mentioned before, on the Danube. And what same thing here. What I really like is you're in the heart of the town. I mean, you can see actually right in front. you are, I mean, in 1 minute you're in the center. They have a beautiful church with, I think, one of the largest organs in the world, I even think. And
Correct,
just,
yeah.
isn't that, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It's beautiful to be in that church and to watch it and also to listen to the organ. But it's also just walking, you know, everything is so close and it's so special. And, you know, and I tried to show it here on my photo. I mean, you can just sit down, have a cup of coffee or tea and just watch the people pass by. You can really immerse in the local life. And that's very special. When you're on a river cruise and you see them here, you know, where they dock, it's right in the center. Okay, Nicholas, your turn.
Well, we pick you up in Passau, and we drive about 20 minutes away from Passau. Is it's actually Europe's largest golf center with 10 golf courses, 5 championship golf courses. And 3 of those are designed by Bernard Langer. And we play on the European PGA Tour Beckenbauer course. And if you've never played a Langer course, just be prepared to use every single club in your bag and every shot shape that every club has. It really will test you. It's a fun course to play, but the best part about it, after the round of golf, we sit down in a typical Bavarian clubhouse. We have some brezen and a beer. Well, the driver's not going to have any beer, but you will. And again, you might see Franz Beckenbauer. Now, for the US market, maybe Beckenbauer is not such a name, but in Europe, he's the king of football, European football, soccer. And this is actually his home course. So the chances of you running into him are actually fairly high because he's a fanatical golfer. If he's usually 2 to 3, 4 times a week at the golf course playing. He just loves it. So you might see some European sports nobility. And then when we finish, we bring you back to the ship, which is now in Vilshofen. It's about 20 kilometers river from Passau, just in time for Regina's famous Oktoberfest.
Right. Well, it's not really mine, but I had to kind of sneak myself into this because that's what it is. See, sure, it's the Oktoberfest is bigger, but it's really a beer fest, and it's how people celebrate it also in Bavaria. You know, it's not a show or anything. I mean, I also have my dirndl. At that time, I didn't wear it, but that's just really, again, immersion in the culture. You get one of the brezen, you get a beer, and you just and I think also Steve, what you told me, they have some performances of the local people, and that's the immersion part.
Yeah, they'll bring the local beer queen to here, and they'll have a small band will come into the beer tent and play for our guests, and it's just a lot of fun, and you get to meet other guests on the ship, and you drink a beer and have some pretzels, and if you don't like beer, we serve champagne or wine, whatever you want, really. But it's a lot of fun, and it is exclusive. In Vilshofen, we own the dock space, so we've built our own beer tent, and we have this agreement with the town, and it works quite well. Whether you're beginning the trip there or ending the trip there, it's always a lot of fun, and that's just before dinner time. So we'll go back on the ship and have dinner after that. So
it's also a very special relationship between AmaWaterways and Vilshofen over the years with Kirsten and Rudy.
Right, and I would like to point. Actually, I would like to point out that's Kristin Kars, the second on the left. She's the co-owner of AmaWaterways, and Rudy is the other one. So I think that's, you see, they are very much involved in AmaWaterways and the local atmosphere. You know, for me, Ama is the most authentic river cruise because that's what they try to bring across, really how life is with the locals, and that's what I like so much about this.
Regina, sorry to interrupt you, but perhaps you could explain to your listeners what a brezen is, because you and I know, of course, what a brezen is.
A
but they
brezen
might
is
not know.
very close. It's a pretzel, you know, this huge pretzel. And I really have to say it tastes differently than the one in the US. So you have to try that. Don't you agree, Steve?
I agree. And I wasn't sure what you were saying earlier, but I surmised that that's what you meant, the pretzel. So,
sorry.
thank you.
That's my local part from Munich. And actually the photo, you know, which I kind of sneaked in, that's in one of the beer gardens, and you find them everywhere. They are also in Bavaria, in Vilshofen, in Passau. It doesn't matter where you go. You can also end the cruise there and then fly out of Munich. You know, that's my hometown. So there's a lot of local immersion, and you see, actually, I didn't have a beer, I had a Radler, and that's another one that's kind of a mixture of beer and lemonade. So that's another thing to try. A lot of, you know, you just have to stay a few extra days to try everything out. So for those of you who go on to Prague, the transfer will be included from Vilshofen to Prague. And what the fun part is really, it's not just a transfer, it's, you know, you will stop at Regensburg, also, you know, a neat little town, which is, you know, it has a medieval center. It has this beautiful cathedral. They are known for the famous boys choir, die Domspatzen. And it's also a university town. So you see a lot of young people there. And again, you know, you will be, we will be taken right to the center of the town and enjoy a few hours there. And from there you go on to Prague, which will be your final stay. And that's the 3-night program. And in Prague, I mean, in Prague, you can spend days there. It's just an amazing city, and it's also called the Golden City of 100 Spires, and you can see it actually right on that photo there. Just the Prague Castle, I think, you know, when I went there with my mom at one time, we spent most of our day there. It's just so impressive, and you can visit it. There's so many things around it. You have beautiful views. I mean, that will take some time just to do that, but then you can also go to, you know, here, I show you on the next one, to the Old Town Square, where you also have the astronomical clock, one of the world's oldest astronomical clocks that are still working. And the hotel you will be staying at, that's also very much in the center, a 5-star hotel. And what I always hear also from the guides, you know, when I went on a tour, get up early, you know, if you want to experience it without people, get up early, just walk there, feel the atmosphere and just enjoy it, because it's just a beautiful place to be. And now again, Niklas, for the last golf course. Actually, let me just go on. That's your slide again.
Thank you. Yes. So when you arrive in Prague, your first day actually will be, you'll be able to join all the others and do all the excursions. Also, it should be said that the tour or the cruise manager that you've had on board the ship throughout the last 7 days will be also with you in Prague. So you won't have another face. It'll be somebody you're very familiar with. And on the second day, we go then to the Albatross Golf Course, which is on the PGA European Tour. It's one of my favorite golf courses. The big piece behind me is from there. It's the 8th green that's behind me. It's just an absolutely amazing golf course. It's so much fun to play. It's designed by Keith Preston. It's probably going to be one of his masterpieces. And it's just from the moment that you step up onto the first tee box, you just know, again, you're really in for a treat. My favorite is going to be the 4th hole on this course. It's just a unique avenue of trees lined down for the tee shot, and you have to thread your ball through that before it opens up onto the fairway. And it's just fun. I could wax lyrical and talk for hours, but I don't want to take too much of your time. I'd rather you just come and enjoy it with us.
Right. And I mean, what we can always do, if people have more questions, please always, you can call me, send an email, and then I can pass it on and we can, get you all the information you need. So now after we talked about the whole itinerary, I just wanted to, again, give you an overview because it was a lot of information. And so here you see, once again, it's a 7-night cruise starting either in Budapest or Vilshofen. So I would like to tell you that I have group space available actually in September of 22 for next year. And that's a cruise on the AmaMagna starting in Budapest. So if you are interested in that, it's again, you can see the itinerary from Budapest, Bratislava, Vienna, then 2 of the smaller towns, Krems, Spitz, Linz, and then to Germany, Passau and Vilshofen. And that's, I would like to mention that one more time. What I really like about that itinerary is you have the big cities there, like Budapest or Vienna, even Bratislava, but you also have the small towns, and just the contrast is really interesting and fun to experience. So there is a special promotion going on right now. It's only until the end of the month, until March 31st, because there is a free land program. That means if you do the cruise, you have a free land portion, and that's 3 nights in Prague, in the heart, really. You have accommodations in the heart of the city, and you have tours offered, and which is a value approximately of $1,800 per stateroom. Now, if that's too short notice for you, there's always the option to do it later, starting April 1st. There will be also a group discount of $500. So you still definitely have an advantage there. And then you can decide if you want to do the additional program in Prague. You can also do 2 nights in Budapest. So it's really up to you what your preference is. Now, Steve, maybe you want to mention briefly with the deposits and how it works.
Sure. So for AmaWaterways, one of the ways that we are different from some of our competitors is a $400 deposit per person holds your stateroom, holds your place on the cruise, and then final payment is not due until 90 days prior to departure. So very reasonable deposit, a very easy timeline for you to manage. And I do think this is a great opportunity, that having that. I think over 2/3 of our guests would normally take the Prague post-stay, the extension, and then for us to have it as complimentary for this time period is a pretty neat thing. So if you are able to take advantage of that, or if it's something you'd want to do anyway, you certainly should think about it. But as Regine mentioned, it will be replaced by something else after the 31st of March, a discount or some other type of promotion. But I really like this. For me, if I'm going to go all this way, and Prague is not too far from the Danube, I want to do Prague. It's one of the best, right? It's one of the best cities in Europe, if not the best. So just a great opportunity.
Definitely. No, there's so many beautiful places there, but Prague is definitely one of them. Of course, I'm also a little prejudiced. Munich is also beautiful,
yes.
But that's where I was born and grew up.
I'm speaking with an Austrian and a German, so I apologize if I said Prague is the best.
That's okay. That's why we put our office headquarters is in Prague, so that's okay.
Okay.
As an Austrian, we'll forgive it.
Okay. So.
No, but this is why I gathered everybody together here, and so I really hope you enjoyed our webinar. And please, if you have any questions, contact me, let me know. and I get back to you right away. And thanks a lot for listening to it and watching our webinar.